Valentine's Day is a time for love and celebration, but for many, it can also bring difficult emotions and challenges. Today, we're looking at the complexities of dating and, of course, love in the digital age, how it's all evolved and the mental health implications of these new dynamics. And joining me on the couch is registered counselor Sadia Southgate. Welcome, Sadia.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love you being on theme.
Thank you. I'm trying. Well, we're matching.
We're trying.
Yes.
We're doing the vibes.
Yes.
Let's talk about how dating, it really has evolved over the years, right? Because now we've got all kinds of platforms and apps, but it creates interesting dynamics for those who are in the dating scene.
Yes, no, absolutely. I believe that online dating has kind of revolutionized romance. And, there are lots of more opportunities on the online platform compared to so many other years. If you think of back in the day, how you would meet someone, it would be along having to go to either their home, having to meet up to a different place, a different restaurant. Now you can literally just swipe, scroll, find someone and meet online, and that's it. And I would definitely say it's basically a growing industry.
It's growing and it definitely has its market.
Absolutely.
But it also comes with some challenges and some risks for a lot of people.
Yes.
Let's talk about those risks.
Yes. I would say, when it comes to the risk, there is a lot of manipulation that can happen. And also, I get to choose what I want people to know about me and what I don't want them to know about me. So in terms of mental health and the psychological impact, as I mentioned, there is manipulation. There is deception that can happen. There's also a lot of abuse that can happen on these platforms. But in essence, we look at, the individual self-esteem that can be affected as well. Overall, because you are withholding certain information, you get to choose what goes out and what comes in. That kind of makes it very challenging for individuals to even connect with an individuality of different persons or even the authenticity of who they are dealing with.
Listen, by way of disclaimer for this conversation, by the way, I'm one of those people who's very apprehensive about online dating.
Okay.
I'll tell you why, because two things come to mind. Ghosting
Absolutely.
and catfishing. Let's understand ghosting for one, because it took me a while to get with this concept.
Yes. My understanding specifically when it comes to ghosting, it's a friend or even someone that you have a romantic interest with that disappears or they kind of just go with a radio silence. So sometimes it can be that you are in communication with a person and then all of a sudden there's just no communication at all. But I believe that, when it comes to just someone just being radio silent, it's either because there's a lack of communication, they either don't want to address certain things, they either don't want to address, let's say, coming to an end of a relationship. But I would say it's mostly prone in romantic relationships.
Okay. Now, catfishing.
Yes.
That's where the danger lies, because that is some scary territory. You don't know what you're dealing with.
No, absolutely. And that is, it comes down to having to understand that this person has a fake identity. And I believe that someone that has planned, let's say, catfishing is quite professional in what they are doing. So it's not just one day somebody wakes up and they decide that they're going to catfish. It's someone having malicious intent, manipulation, deceit. But when it comes to understanding the psychology behind it, it's someone that is also trying to seduce other people. So a lot of the time, that person that is behind, let's say, the content or catfisher, that person is already going through identity issues. They have a lack of self-esteem, and because of that, they're kind of trying to get back at other people to try and make them feel good about themselves.
Shoo. Okay, that segues us into one's mental health, right? How do you then, if you're exploring online dating apps, all these new platforms, how do you safeguard your mental health? Because it seems like there's a lot of things you have to be conscious of and cautious of.
I think it's also a lot of things you need to be aware of. So before you even, I think for me, I am married, so thankfully I haven't been catfished, and I pray that I will never be. But it's just the mere fact of being aware that this is out there. First and foremost, acknowledge that this can happen to somebody, in actual fact, to anybody. So to be aware of it, I would say you have to be very secure within yourself. That whatever is being done to you on a social platform or just with regards to technology, it's inevitable. You can't really prevent it, because what is happening is that whatever's happening on the other side of the screen is without your control. So when it comes to your mental health, I would say that if someone has gone through it, that they practice self-care, they connect with family and friends, that they also know that when they're being catfished or ghosted, that someone's disappearance is not a reflection on their worth. It's rather a reflection of the fear of that person wanting to be seen. And that's the important thing that I would want viewers to even recognize.
So that brings up the issue of anonymity for me, right? Because how does that then contribute to one's behavior and one's mental health? So many people are doing things in the dark because of that protection. How do we even hold them accountable?
I think it's a very difficult thing to answer because sometimes people feel like, you know what, I don't need to address this, I don't need to hold him accountable. Other times, let's say, if it actually affected this person's mental health, you definitely have to take the necessary steps to protect yourself first and foremost, because the reality is everything that we do starts with us first. So if you're looking at, the person that is on the other side, you cannot control what they are doing there. What you can control is your reaction. And that is what's most important moving forward in understanding this whole concept, is that that person on the other side, whether they know what they're doing or not, it still has an impact on you. And if you are secure within yourself, yes, the reality is we are human beings and we are meant to feel. So there's a lot of feelings that's involved, a lot of thoughts, a lot of identity issues that may come on the horizon. But the reality is that you can address the issue if you need to. But I would say take a step back, do the work first on yourself, whether it's seeing a therapist, speaking to a close family or friend, and then do the necessary steps to make sure that your mental health and well-being comes first.
As we wrap up our conversation, Sadia, let's wrap it out on a positive note.
Absolutely.
Advice for those who, are tired of the traditional ways of dating and want to try online dating.
Yes.
They're right there on the cusp, but they need that little push.
Yes. The little push that you're referring to is that that we need to realize that we are worth it. And that's what it comes down to, is that regardless of what platform I'm on, whether it's on an app, whether it is, let's say, sliding through someone's DMs or whatever the case may be, is that I see the value within myself first. So for these viewers that have been caught up in situations like that person's disappearance does not have an implication or reflect their level of worth. Because the reality is that people are going to do things, good or bad, whether we like it or not. And as long as you know that you are worth it, you are worth loving, then that's all that matters.
Well, listen, from your lips, and we know the rest. Thank you, Sadia. Thank you for the conversation.
You're welcome.
This has been an important conversation, shedding light on the more challenging aspects of modern dating. Now, it's important to navigate these changes with awareness and self-care. And remember, healthy relationships start with understanding ourselves first. Don't go away, because after the break, we chat to celeb couple Armand and Sean Orkamp van Noordwijk.